Hi, everyone. I'm Jamie Vaughn with Family Fiction's Christian Fiction Bookshelf podcast. And today, on our episode of the Christian Fiction Bookshelf podcast, we have Elizabeth Goddard, and she is here to talk to us about her brand new book called Shadows at Dark. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thanks for having me
Good.
on.
Good. So, without giving too much away, what can you tell me about this new book?
This story is set in Southeast Alaska, and bush pilot Carrie James, that the readers would have met in Cold Light of Day, is the main character, and she partners with Detective Trevor West to find his missing sister and to also find a murder. Her best friend in Mentor was murdered, and so they kind of work together. He was a U.S. Deputy U.S. Marshal, see if I say that correctly, in his past job, and he tracked fugitives. So they worked together to try to find, excuse me, his sister and
Uh-huh.
also the killer. So.
Okay. So what kind of well, now I can't talk. So tonight. What kind of research do you have to do for this? I mean, I know you don't live in Alaska. Did you go? Did you do a deep dive into like the job that Trevor did? Those types of things.
Oh, I did an absolute ton of research, and I have a lot of resources, people who are friends and family, and all kinds of input to give me all the details I needed. I probably did more research on this story than I've done on any stories because I had to know everything about bush pilots and how that works. And my husband has a really good friend who is a bush pilot in Alaska who actually flies the same exact plane as Carrie James. So that worked out perfect. And then I did a ton of research on conflict minerals, and the story is just full of all kinds of elements. And so I learned a lot, but I had a lot of fun.
Yeah. So how do Trevor and Carrie work together in this book?
Well, as I mentioned, he is there to find his missing sister, and she left him with photographs. And Carrie James has traveled all over, and she knows the area, and she looks at the photographs, and she knows where the places are, not some of the places, so she can take him. And again, they strike a deal. He will help her find the killer, her friend's killer, and she will help him find a sister. So they get on a plane and they travel and island hop all over Alaska, Southeast Alaska,
Okay.
which is the Panhandle.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So how did you choose Alaska for the setting?
Well, for the Missing in Alaska series, actually, I was researching on Deadly Target, which is a previous book, and I was like researching about podcasts, and I came across one that was called Missing in Alaska, and I just got chills, and I was like, oh, I have got to write a series called Missing in Alaska. So I had actually written 6 books before set in Southeast Alaska, and I really wanted to go back. So this seemed like the perfect opportunity.
Oh, 6 books based in Alaska. Wow. Have you actually been to Alaska?
I have not, but it's Pacific North. I consider it Pacific Northwest, and
Okay.
it kind of all runs up. And I, again, have my resources, friends and family, and different people who live there. And a lot of people have read the books and said they're very spot on. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to go back because I love that area, and I love this area where I live, Pacific Northwest, and a lot of the same features.
Hmm. So Shadows at Dark is the second book in the series called
Mhm.
Missing in Alaska. So how do you link all the books? And then is there a third coming?
Yes, yes. All the books are linked with a small town called Shadow Gap, and it's set in a fictional fjord in Southeast Alaska, and it's also linked by all the characters. And the third book I just turned in and I finished edits and I just revealed the cover is called Hidden in the Night. So there will be a third book and it releases next summer.
Okay. Well, hopefully you'll be back on with us and we can talk about
Yeah,
that then.
that would
Yeah.
be great.
Um, so when the reader finishes the book, closes, gets at the end of that chapter, says the end, closes the book, what do you hope they take away from it?
Well, first, I hope that they're trying really hard to catch their breath because I hope it's such a wild and enjoyable ride. But also just the sense that God loves them, and just it's a feeling of satisfaction. The stories are all filled with redemption and forgiveness, and just again to know that God is walking with them through the fire and through the water and through everything. Because my characters, I put them through a lot in this book, so I want the readers to feel all of that, and then at the end, just have that sense of yes, that was an adventure, and I know God is there.
Yeah. So I have seen through your career that you love to write these very I can't talk again, suspenseful books. What led you to this type of genre of writing?
That was a very long part of my writing journey. I found really that I enjoyed writing romantic suspense. I enjoyed reading it, first of
Okay.
all. I actually was targeting, when I was trying to become published, targeting to write historicals. Historicals actually do have a lot of suspense in them. And so as I continued writing and getting published, I believe that it can take time for an author to really find their voice
Right.
and find the genre that they fit well in. And so the doors opened and I started writing the genre, which I love to read in.
Mhm.
And that's just where I landed, and that's where I
Mhm.
fit. So it just took me a while to find it.
Okay, so you said that you've turned in your latest in this series.
Mhm.
So what's next on your plate?
I am writing the first book in a series tentatively called Hidden Bay, and it is set on the Pacific Northwest coast, or the Washington coast. And I do live there. I live very near there, and I've done quite a few research trips recently to work on that. So that should be another very exciting, stunning setting and full of adventure and romance and suspense.
Oh, well, that sounds exciting. Now, everyone, if you are interested in picking up this book, Shadow at Dusk, make sure to go and pick it up at your local Christian bookstore or wherever you buy your books. It's available now by Revell. Elizabeth, thank you so much for coming and
For
talking with
having
us.